Hey y'all. So today I'm going to go over reasons why you're not losing weight or my 10 tips for weight loss. I'm going to go over these guys with you. It's something that I always have to keep in mind as I'm on my weight loss journey. And some of these are like more known, like everyone would know them. Some of these, maybe people don't think about them, or like for myself, sometimes I don't think about these things and I have to remind myself. So let's just go through them. All right, number one, number one reason that you're not losing weight, or number one tip for weight loss is making sure that you're eating enough protein. You actually need to be eating about 1 gram of protein per body weight goal, per pound of body weight goal. So if your body weight goal is 150, you need to eat 150 grams of protein. If your body weight goal is 130, you need to eat 130 grams of protein. And this is a day, 130 to 150 grams of protein a day is considered what you should be eating in order to lose fat and build muscle, right? And a lot of us are on these recomping journeys. And what recomp is, body recomposition, which I've talked about before, is basically where you build muscle and lose fat at the same time. So you're not necessarily just focusing on weight loss, and you're not necessarily focusing on bulking or gaining muscle, but you're kind of wanting to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. So that's what body recomposition is, and you're not going to be able to do that if you're not eating a high protein diet, if you're not getting at least 130 grams of protein in a day for women, because usually that's what our body weight goals are, from anywhere from 130 to 150 to 160. Those are the amount. And for myself, I try to get in at least 130 grams of protein is something that I can do, especially with my use of Greek yogurt, because Greek yogurt has like a high protein content. I think it's like 16 grams per serving, and I usually have like a cup instead of like I can't remember what the serving size on the back is, but I'll usually have a cup, which is like at least 20 grams of protein, right? And so this is really helpful, having like Greek yogurt bowls or having protein shakes on hand, to get that little extra 30 in your day. You have to be mindful about it. That's why I track on MyFitnessPal, and I'm not completely tracking my macros yet. I did have a call with a personal trainer, so I'm gonna possibly doing a nutrition program with her where she's gonna teach me how to count macros, and I'll obviously share that information with you guys. So anyway, you gotta make sure you're eating enough protein. So that's number one. All right, number two is you're eating too much sodium. You would be so surprised on seasonings, on sauces. If you look at the back and you look at sodium content. So for example, I make this dish. It's like beef, broccoli and rice as like a teriyaki style beef and broccoli rice like dish that I love to make. I also make other dishes like stir fries a lot of the time because, once again, on the anti-inflammatory diet, it's usually fine to eat white rice. So a lot of the times I make stir fries and I love white rice. And so anyway, the problem though is that when I looked on the back of the gluten-free soy sauce, I'm talking about 900 milligrams of sodium, and guess how many tablespoons? It was like 1 or 2 tablespoons of that, of the soy sauce. It was 900 milligrams. I had been pouring that on my food along with fish sauce. Now get this, fish sauce has like 600 milligrams in 2 tablespoons. So I was putting 2 sauces on my food that basically were full of sodium, and then not wondering why my face looked bloated, while I was bloated, while I was holding water, retaining water. I mean, these sodium makes you retain water. It makes you hold on to water. So if you're eating too much sodium, it's gonna be like you put on 3 pounds overnight. It's not actually fat, it's water weight. So it's because that you're eating too much sodium that you're not seeing that flat stomach that you want to see because of the sodium content. So check the back of bottles, not just for sugar, because I always check for sugar, but make sure you check the back of bottles and jars for sugar and also for sodium, because it's just something you want to keep in mind, right? All right, so the next one is snacking. Now, this is a hard one. This is a really hard one because everybody loves to snack. But did you know that when you're not eating enough protein, you're not getting those signals to your brain that you feel full? And when you're eating a lot of sugar, it spikes your blood sugar, which also makes you not feel full. So a lot of the time when you're getting signals that you're hungry, that's when we snack, is when we feel hungry. So the elixir to not snacking is to feel full, right? And for me, I'm on metformin, which helps me feel full because it reduces my blood sugar because of the psychiatric medication that I'm on that raises blood sugar. The metformin counteracts that and lowers my blood sugar. So it automatically makes me feel full, more full. But I still like to snack. It doesn't take the entire feeling of hunger away, right? And so for me, my biggest snacking window that I always wanted to snack at was at night. So now I usually eat dinner around 5. It just works best for me. It gives my body plenty of time to digest. So anyway, around the window of like 6, 7, 8, I'm getting hungry, right? And that's when, instead of reaching for a bag of chips, which has no nutrients, it has no vitamins, minerals, nothing good for your body, instead of reaching for a bag of chips or any other unhealthy processed food, I usually make myself a Greek yogurt bowl, and I'll put Greek yogurt sweetened with stevia, and then I'll put raspberries, blackberries, because once again, the doctor told me go gluten-free and also eat lots of antioxidants. So I try to eat berries every day. So I'll do the Greek yogurt with the raspberries, the blackberries, and a banana, and then I'll put chia seeds and granola on top. And I'm telling you, you guys, like, that is the best. Oh my God, the best snack. And the yogurt is so full of protein that it keeps me full. So once I eat that, that's it. I'm done for the night. I don't need a snack on anything that's high in calories. Like, even sometimes with trail mix, like I love trail mix, but sometimes it's a high calorie food. So if you're just snacking on a bag of trail mix, you might eat way more than you realize, and you might pack on the calories that way. So having a yogurt bowl is just like a really good alternative snack for me. Also, what's a great alternative is, veggies and hummus. If you want something more savory, veggies and hummus. In tuna packets, there's ones that come that are sweet and spicy or that are flavored. The tuna packets is also going to be high protein, and you can put that on some crackers late at night, and it's just, the protein is what's actually going to fill you up, right? So as long as you're eating things that are high in protein that aren't processed, right? I'm okay with eating protein bars every once in a while, but protein bars every night, they're packed full. It's processed at the end of the day, And so you want to give yourself the ability to eat real food, because a lot of these snacks and a lot of these things that you get at the gas station or whatever, they're processed. And so if you eat more real whole foods, you're going to feel more satiated and you're going to feel more full longer. And so it's going to take away some of the snacking, right? And so we'll get more on that later, but let's go to the next tip. All right, so this one might surprise you, but if you're not getting at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep, sometimes more for women, your body is not going to have the time or the energy to process the food you ate and to burn it as fat and to burn the fat instead of storing the fat, right? So if you are not sleeping well or getting enough sleep, it's going to be very hard for you to lose weight because our body needs that time to process, digest, renew our cells, repair our DNA. all of that resting time is what gives our body the time to, when you work out, you tear your muscles, right? So they have to be put back together, and that's when they get bigger, right? And so, your body has to have time to repair. So if you're not sleeping and you're not getting good sleep, your stress hormones are going to be higher, which is going to cause your hunger to be higher. And it's also not going to give you time to repair the muscles that you continue to tear at your workouts. So you want to have good quality sleep, at least 8 to 9 hours of good quality sleep every night in order to reach your weight loss goals. So bouncing off of that is what I mentioned just now, is high cortisol levels. If you're highly intensely stressed all the time, it's gonna affect your body. You're gonna have problems losing weight. You're gonna have problems. That's why working out is so important, because it releases stress. So that's why gym workouts are so important, because they release stress. They release serotonin into the body, into the brain, which acts like an antidepressant. So if you work out and like strength train and you're doing weightlifting, it's going to, and cardio as well, it's going to send those serotonin boosters up to your brain. You're going to be less stressed. But if you're still operating at a high level of cortisol and a high level of stress, or in a state of fight or flight consistently over a period of time, you're not going to be able to reach your weight loss goals, because that's going to be destroying your body. So if you're highly stressed, I would suggest, I have a lot of stress problems. I'm a highly stressed person. And so I take an anxiety med that really helps with that. So I would say talk to your doctor, try to do everything you can, like working out, like yoga, like meditation, everything in your power. And if your stress levels are still too high, there's always help with medication. I'm a firm believer in getting the help that you need, no matter how you do it. So it's important to feel good. And if you're not feeling good, if you're feeling stressed, and you might need something like a medication, like myself, that helps you. Once again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm not anything. I'm just a me that lost weight. So, definitely make sure that your stress levels are being managed in a way that's allowing you to reach your goals. So number 6, not tracking your calories and overeating mindlessly. A lot of the times when we're watching TV, when we're watching YouTube, when we're on our phones, that's when we can kind of mindlessly eat. And, a lot of science has been done on being present while you eat and kind of consciously eating, because it sends those signals to your brain that are telling your brain, I'm eating and I'm full, And so it's important that we track our calories. I use MyFitnessPal. I think I heard there was another app called Lose It that you can use to track your calories. And on MyFitnessPal, I think they also have an option where you can track your macros if you pay for the premium membership. And so, MyFitnessPal is great to just track your calories. If they have a lot of restaurant foods that have calories that are already listed. They have a lot of foods that will just pop up if you type them in the search bar. So MyFitnessPal is a great first step on counting your calories, because if you don't have data from what you're actually consuming, it's going to be very hard to understand why your weight is the way it is. So you definitely want to take in as much data as possible and really read and understand. These are, because what a good idea is to basically track your calories before you start your weight loss program and just see how many calories you're taking in every day. Because I swear, if you've ever watched the show Secret Eaters basically shows people who are mindlessly eating behind the scenes, and they keep saying, I eat healthy, I don't know why I'm the way I am. And when they have secret cameras following them and they're investigated with secret cameras, they realize, oh, I just ate 2 bags of chips and I didn't even calculate that. Or, oh, I just ordered takeout and I said I only ordered takeout once a week, but I actually got it 3 times this week. There's things that you have to calculate, otherwise you're not going to know. And just for ourselves, we always want to make ourselves better than what we actually are. So we're always going to assume that we're actually eating less, when if we actually tracked every calorie, a lot of the times we're overeating. So that's just something to be mindful of. Number 7, you need to be strength training 4 to 5 times a week, okay? And you need to be taking recovery days, right? So strength training 3 to 4 times or 4 to 5 times a week is going to really change the game. I'm telling you, lifting weights, first of all, diet is the most important thing, in my opinion. Diet is number 1 because you can't out-train a bad diet. But number 2 is what I've mentioned before in my videos, which is progressive overload, which is basically weightlifting in a way that increases the weight over time. And so you're continuing to build muscle by increasing your weight over time. And the more muscle on your body, the more fat you're gonna burn when you're in a resting state. So yes, we know we burn calories when we work out, but when you have more muscle on your body, you will notice that you start to burn calories even when you're in a resting state, going about your average regular day. The more muscle you have, the more fat you will burn. So make sure you're getting in those sessions, no matter what it takes. I know it's so crazy, and we have these crazy schedules, and we have kids, and we have a life, and it's so hard to get it in. But I promise you, if you get in that 3 to 4, 4 to 5 days a week, start at 3. If you need to just get disciplined with 3 days a week, just start at 3. Start wherever you can, but make sure you get those days in, and make sure you're on a training program that allows for progressive overload, because that's when you're going to see the most results. Number 8. Now, this is one that a lot of people don't talk about. That is something that is very true and hard for us to wrap our minds around. But I actually had a conversation with a personal trainer the other week, and I'm going to tell you what she told me in order to kind of wrap our minds around this, right? So if you're under eating, this could be a problem. Once again, going back to tracking your calories, you could either be overeating or you could also be under eating. And when you're under eating, you're slowing down your metabolism, So it's like a car without gas. It can't run. And if your body can't run, it can't burn fat. And so basically your body goes into starvation mode and starts holding on to every little calorie, every little storing of fat in order to, because it's in a state of fight or flight. Like, I didn't get enough food today. I don't know when I will have enough food, because once again, we're built for survival. So then it goes into starvation mode of, we don't know when we're going to get our next food, so we have to hang on to this fat store because it could be our only source of energy. So you got to remember that eating enough calories. This is why it's good to work with a nutritionist or work with a personal trainer who can customize a program for you, and also to track yourself so you know that you're hitting your goals every day. Because if you're severely under eating, it's gonna be a roadblock in your weight loss journey. So make sure you talk to a professional about that, and make sure you track your calories, and make sure that you're getting maintenance calories, or if you're in a calorie deficit, that you're still eating enough to be able to get to your body goal weight. Number 9, eating ultra processed foods. Now I'm going to try to put in a chart of what ultra processed foods are, right? And this is something that's very hard, especially if your life is on the go and there's only options are fast food options, which is why when you're on a weight loss journey, it does take extra planning. It does take extra preparation in order to meal prep, in order to have meals that you're either non-cook or that are something easy to cook that you can make before you leave the house. So planning and preparation goes all into this, because if you're not planning and preparing appropriately, you will reach for the fast food convenient option, which is usually fast food, right? And those are the ultra processed foods. And these foods, they are so high in sodium, fat, and sugar, intentionally engineered to be high in those things in order for you to keep buying them, okay? But they're so lacking in nutrition that your body is going to be hungry right after you eat them because there's not enough protein and there's not enough healthy carbs and whole foods that are in these foods. They're basically fake foods, they look like food, but they're not really food, because ultra processed means that it takes it down almost to a molecular level. If you look at a can of Pringles, it looks like a chip. It's not. It's taken down to little potato flakes and churned up in these big heavy metal industry machinery, and in order to be kind of reduced to like a slurry, which is then formed and shaped into, or to be dehydrated into a powder, which is then formed and shaped into what we would call a Pringle, or what we would call a Dorito chip, or any other processed food, right? And so another thing to look out for is processed meats. And I'll try to add what processed meats are, because a lot of processed meats are sausage, bacon, even chicken sausage. A lot of breakfast foods are processed foods. So for me, the way I like to eat my breakfast is I like to basically just have like ground turkey options. So I'll make a big batch of ground turkey and I'll either eat it in a corn tortilla with like a quesadilla with a fried egg on top, or I'll make it in kind of a rice bowl and just do a ground turkey rice bowl. That's been my go-to breakfast, has been ground turkey, because I know it's not processed meat, right? And so having something high protein in the morning for me, it really does wonders for me being full throughout the day, and also kickstarting my metabolism early so I continue to burn fat, and so I get my motor running early, right? And so it's just really good to stay away from processed food as much as possible. Processed food is definitely known as a carcinogen, especially processed meats. And so it's good to stay away from this just for our overall health and wellness. And so yeah, try to stay more towards a whole foods diet versus processed food and processed snacks. All right, here's my last and maybe most important tip for weight loss, or a reason why you're not losing weight. And this is underlying health conditions, right? There are so many. So there's PCOS, endometriosis. There could be a medication that you're taking, like for example, in my situation, that has just caused you to put on the pounds, right? And so my number one tip before you start your weight loss journey is to talk to a doctor, to talk to them, to get tested, get your blood work done. Make sure there's no thyroid conditions, PCOS, endometriosis. Make sure there's no, especially for women, make sure there's no underlying health conditions, or for men, even diabetes. Make sure there's no underlying health conditions that are causing weight loss to be harder for you than other people, because there is a truth to the fact that we still don't even quite understand how hormones affect metabolism and affect weight gain and weight loss. So it's so important to work out with your doctor. I have a meeting with my endocrinologist coming up in a couple weeks, and we're going to talk more about different options for my particular health conditions. It's good to talk to your doctor and get a good idea of what you're up against, because it's going to help with your nutrition coaching and your training to understand, and something that you can take to a professional and be like, hey, I have this condition, or I'm working with this. Do you have any experience with this? Or maybe it's a medication that you need to take that's going to counteract the health condition that you have and actually help you lose weight effectively. If you've tried a lot of things and a lot of things have not worked, then it's a very high possibility that you could have an underlying health condition that needs to be sorted out before you can make real long-lasting progress, right? And so get that sorted out with your doctor. Make sure there's no underlying health conditions. Make sure the medications that you're taking do not have weight gain as a side effect. And if you can't get off them, then try talking to your doctor about taking another medication that can counteract that side effect, like for me with metformin. My psychiatric medication spikes my blood sugar, while my metformin that I take daily lowers my blood sugar. And metformin honestly has been the only way that I've been able to lose weight without going crazy on diet and exercise, right? So I've been able to consistently lose and maintain a healthy weight without having to go crazy and be obsessed with diet and exercise. So yes, I work out. Yes, I eat a very healthy and kind of restrictive diet compared to most people. But at the same time, I'm not obsessive to the point where it's taking away from my quality of life, you know? And so then I was only able to get there with taking a medication that helps reduce that side effect. So these are all things that go into it. You can't separate one from the other. They all work together. You know, even if you're taking a medication, your diet and your exercise are still 100% at play to what your end weight is going to be. So just because you're on a medication doesn't mean you can eat whatever you want or do whatever you want. Just because you're on a medication doesn't mean that you can just, you know, do whatever you want with diet and exercise and still expect the same results, you know? Even with taking a medication, you want to change your lifestyle and your habits in order to create a healthy lifestyle that is sustainable, that you can still do, and that when you stop taking the medication, if you stop taking the medication, that your weight won't just yo-yo right back up, you know? And so these are all things to keep in mind. I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that it informed someone or made them aware of something that they might not have been aware of previously. These are just my tips and my opinions, and I will see you guys next video for more health and wellness tips.